Maybe NTSA does not commit any budget to public communication on road use. That is why you will find as you drive along the superhighway, there is a sign saying that there should be no truck on the highway speeding track. But under that sign, you will see a lorry speeding under the sign that is showing no trucks on this lane. In the same breath, you will see an individual who is riding a motorcycle, and the pillion passenger is wearing a helmet, but the rider himself is not wearing a helmet. But they will end up calling you for harambe after they're involved in an accident for a mistake that was of their own. Mr. Speaker, I think there is a very serious communication, sensitization, campaign component to the issue that Honorable Karemba has brought so that we prevent the accidents even before they happen. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And as the committee does the report, they need to see whether there is a way we can commit budgets to communicating and sensitizing the public on road safety.
Cases?
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Finally, I can have a moment to just put across, not to repeat what my colleagues have said, but rather to recon from the Mishuki rules. Mishuki turned around the Matatu sector. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, up to now, nothing stops the Cabinet Secretary for Transport to come up with the policies that is going to sanitize our transport. There is craziness everywhere in border. Even, Mr. Speaker, looking at the riders, our governors are using even in the local cities where we come from. They cause a lot of trouble and havoc because of the reckless way of driving. Mr. Speaker, I stand to suggest that either we come up with regulations and rules to even guide the mirror transportation in terms of time and how they are carried. Lastly, is to encourage the agencies on the road sector. If you look at what Kura is doing, we know Kura are mandated to do roads within the municipalities and the cities. But if you look at the carriage way they provide is so thin, and it's in those areas that we have a huge traffic of border and many motor vehicles. Mr. Speaker, I dare suggest that the Committee of Transport need to dig deeper than this and ensure that Kura re-standardizes their particular road works so that they standardize the carriage and provide a possibility and opportunity for the volumes that have grown over time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I say it is possible to change Kenya like the way Rwanda has changed. Nothing stops Kenya to change. We need the right people, right thinking of the minister, and Kenya will be in order. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. If I were you, Ruku, I would not debate anything here. If I were you, I would be nil by mouth completely. Where is the chair, roads and transport? Majority leader? And you cause your chairman to bring a statement in response to this. Can he manage next week?
I will speak to him. I know he had exams this week, but
Yes.
by next week he should be able to come. You're the vice chair? No, the Honorable Didmas is the vice chair of that committee.
Yes.
So I'll cause that, but it's indeed true.
Are you
Honorable
from
Speaker.
that committee? Yes, make sure you bring a statement Thursday next week.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker.
And Taitum should be advised that Karemba is not asking or debating about the value or otherwise, the quality or otherwise of Mira. He is complaining about the manner in which the commodity is transported. And from where I sit, I take judicial notice of the reckless manner in which those vehicles are driven. I have narrowly escaped a head-on collision with them, not once, not twice. So, Honorable Taitum also, as you promote the product to which we have no issues, safety is as important as the marketing of the product. Yes, Donya.
Thank you, Mr.
Mama
Speaker.
Kisi.
Yeah, I've just gotten interested on the Transport Committee because last week you told them to give me an answer this day. So, Mr. Speaker, I prepared today. I combed my hair just to be excited because I was going to be given an answer. How am I going home Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, you
no
don't
answer.
need to comb your hair to receive an answer.
No, I just want, because, Mr. Speaker, if you see the state of our roads, they are very bad. And you see, I'm even imagining pregnant women being driven on those roads. We are talking of Mira, yes, but you are carrying twins, and the roads are pathetic, Mr. Speaker. I just needed an answer. See, I'm begging for it.
Wait on. I directed last week that you bring a response to a statement requested by the Honorable Donya. Do you have an idea?
I have an idea, but because of the number of questions that were there, we will work hard and bring answers by next week.
No, bring the answer on Thursday, this week.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker.
Thursday this week. Donya, you can comb your hair again on Thursday. The next order.
Order number 11, motion, state of security in 6 counties of North Rift, being Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia. Mover to reply.
Who is the mover? Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration. Tongoyo?
Yes, I'm here, Honorable
Lasso, you
Speaker.
are replying. Go ahead.
I'm Tongo in another form. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank all members who have contributed to this motion on security in 6 counties of North Rift, Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia, which were declared disturbed. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who come from the ASALs or areas that are generally disturbed, I think this government has done a lot. Although there are pockets of problems, but if I consider in the 11th parliament, when I came to this parliament for the first time, and in the 13th parliament, it is actually like the difference between day and night. That today, a lot of activities have come back to normalcy. Honorable Speaker, it is evident that many members support the recommendation developed in the report on the inquiry and are ready to support the legislative and other measures that will enable conflict to cease in these areas. Honorable Speaker, in their contribution, many members have raised pertinent issues, particularly on issues that threaten the safety and stability of the region, but also they have broader implication on national security. As a way of reply, in February 2023, the then Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Interior and National Administration actually gazetted this region of North Rift as disturbed areas, and also he declared national emergency. In recognition of this, when the committee did the inquiry, they came up with rafts of recommendations. Key among them is disarmament, where we must take illicit arms off the civilians. Initiation of a systematic intelligence trade operation so that we can dismantle criminal networks operation in the region. Establishment of a strong national government administrative structures. We noted that many of these areas do not have any form of administrative footprint. This is why they are largely seen as ungoverned. Adopt and deployment of modern security surveillance system by integrating advanced technologies such as drones, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, the AMRAPs, and armored personnel carriers, and air surveillance, among others. There have also been many recommendations which are contained in the report, and since the report is the property of this House, members can look through them. Honorable Speaker, the House should follow up on this recommendation for implementation, and in particular, we look at Committee on Implementation to take up most of these matters as priority. Honorable Speaker, once again, as a committee, we thank you and the clerk for your support to facilitate the committee to have carried out this particular task seamlessly. With those remarks, I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Russell. Honorable members will put the question on this tomorrow. Next order. Yes, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I want to beg your indulgence in relation to the business listed as order number 17 on the value-added tax amendment bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025, that I stand down this bill for today, since the Finance and National Planning Committee is yet to finalize their report, and there's something we had agreed with the chair of the committee that they would need to do to establish the exact quantum of what is sought to be exempted and the beneficiaries of those exemptions, and also to ascertain that there are indeed investments that have been made in the country, actual investments in relation to the exemptions that have been sought through that bill. Therefore, I wanted to beg your indulgence that we step down that business from the order paper today until such a time that the Finance Committee will have finalized with that report.
Thank you. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with the Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, if you look at that bill, Mr. Speaker, that bill, I don't want to call it dangerous, but it's a very important bill. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is giving exemptions of 14.9 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker. Almost 15 billion. And, Mr. Speaker, we are unable to raise money for CDF. The whole of this afternoon, we are fighting here over money for CDF. And someone here is bringing a bill that wants to give exemptions of 15 billion shillings. So, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Majority Leader that this bill needs to be scrutinized by the Finance Committee properly so that we know whether these investments have happened, and if they have happened, where are they, and what value do they give to Kenyans? Because, Mr. Speaker, if you just give blanket exemptions, as the bill is trying to do, and the bill is actually trying not to give only exemptions, it is trying to backdate those exemptions to 2024, Mr. Speaker. This House had passed a bill earlier giving them exemptions, but now they want it backdated to 2024, Mr. Speaker. Why? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Atandi.
Honorable Speaker, I also would like to support the standing down of this bill. Honorable Speaker, there's a report which I presented on the floor of this House from the Budget Office on the implications of exemptions on our revenue raising efforts. Honorable Speaker, the report says that we lose about 300 billion annually from our ordinary revenues because of exemptions. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it would really be really bad on this House if we continue to do the same in knowing very well, Honorable Speaker, that we are unable to raise revenues. We are even projecting to raise about 2.8 trillion this coming financial year, and we'll never do it with these exemptions. Honorable Speaker, I want to beseech the House that in future and going forward, we should never allow exemptions that cannot be explained. And therefore, I want to support Honorable Junetta and Honorable the Leader of Majority that these exemptions must be thoroughly scrutinized before they can be allowed to be discussed on the floor.
We'll step down the bill. Kimani, we are not debating the bill. It is, I've given to the Chair of Finance first. I'll come to you, Karoli.
Honorable Speaker, first of all, I'd like to thank the Leader of Majority, the sponsor of this bill, for actually agreeing to step down this bill, Honorable Speaker. It is not in the habit of the Committee of Finance and National Planning to try to slow any motion or any bill that comes before the floor of this House. We always endeavor that we complete the tasks that have been assigned to our committee in a record time. However, Honorable Speaker, whereas this bill came to us as a correction of a vellum error that may have happened during the printing of the tax amendment bill act that we passed in December, Speaker, on further asking for clarification from National Treasury on the financial implication of this, Honorable Speaker, today we got a report that actually this would lead to exemptions of around 15 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. And although we've seen the impact of a change of policies and how that has happened in terms of spurring and promoting local manufacturing and promoting economic growth, Honorable Speaker, it's very important that we balance that particular aspect so that we make sure that those particular exemptions are actually used to spur local manufacturing and economic growth, and that there is no any possibility of abuse, Honorable Speaker. So we asked for more time and so that we scrutinize these particular entities, Honorable Speaker. It's important we visit even these entities where they are and what they do, and actually whether they have an actual impact in our economy. However, Honorable Speaker, tax policies that enhance local manufacturing have actually been proven to have an impact, a positive impact in both creating local employment, promoting local manufacturing, and inspiring economic growth, Honorable Speaker. But it's, however, very important that we scrutinize them so they are not subject to abuse. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Who do you want to inform? He's already left the floor. Caroli?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Kimani, only inform a member who is on the floor, and he has already left the floor. You don't inform the House General, you inform the member on the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I just wish to draw the attention of the House to Article 210 of the Constitution of Kenya. And if I may read it for the ease of members, no tax or licensing fee may be imposed, waived, or varied except as provided by legislation. If legislation permits the waiver of any tax or licensing fee, a public record of each waiver shall be maintained together with the reasons for the waiver. And each waiver and the taxation for it shall be reported by the Auditor General. And then, basically, when you read this bill, there is no reference to the constitutional provisions. That is one of the biggest problems I noticed with it. So I would advise the next draft of this bill, or wherever it is tabled, it should refer to that Article 210.
Caroline?
Yes.
What is before the House is very simple. We step it down. What you are saying, you have an opportunity when we reach that order, either today, tomorrow, or any other day. Then you can read the Constitution to the House and tell the sponsor of the bill what ought to be done or not to be done. What is before us, do we step it down? In fact, we don't need even to debate it. It's just a matter of the Speaker's discretion.
In view of the inconsistency with the Constitution, we should not only step it down, but maybe withdraw it and bring a new one.
That will come when the bill is being debated. I now direct that order number 17 be stepped down to another date that will be agreed upon in the House Business Committee. Next order. Yes, Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, order number 19, the treaty making and ratification amendment number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2024, which is stated to be under the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. I think this should be Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, because I remember very well, I was asked to present my views and I did a memorandum on it, and I presented it to Defense and Foreign Affairs. So we may actually have to recheck that this is not under Justice and Legal Affairs.
Clerk, can you correct that? If we reach it and Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign are not here, we'll step it down to another date. Let's go to the next order. My honorable members, orders number 12, 13 and 14 should be run through fairly quickly unless members have serious contentions, so that we go to the committee of the whole. Call out.
Order number 12, special motion, consideration of nominees for appointment as principal secretaries, State Department for Public Investments and Asset Management, and State Department for Economic Planning.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, Kimani, this is your motion.
Order number 12. Don't let Wangari confuse you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, the Honorable Mother Wangari is one of the leaders that I really look up to. She's having a third term, one as a senator and 2 terms as an elected member of Gilgil constituency. And so she's high ranking than me in terms of hierarchy of this house. And I seek her wisdom as many times as I can, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as Principal Secretaries, State Department for Public Investment and Asset Management, and the State Department for Economic Planning laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 10th of April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155(3)(b of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliament Approval Act, Cap 7F, that this House approves the appointment of the following principal secretaries. 1, Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede as a Principal Secretary, State Department of...
Their roles are central in enhancing public asset management, optimizing investments, enhancing the country's economic planning, and coordinating the country's economic blueprint, especially through Vision 2030. Madam Speaker, the committee examined the nominees based on academic qualifications, their professional experiences, leadership and integrity, political neutrality, financial probity, and potential conflicts of interest. The committee also ensured that the nominees were cleared by the relevant investigative bodies, such as Kenya Revenue Authority, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Higher Education Loans Board, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, and the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. On Mr. Cecil Wagunda Odede, Honorable Speaker, after conducting the approval hearings, the committee noted that Mr. Odede is a seasoned public servant with over 34 years of experience, most of which was spent in various senior roles at the Kenya Revenue Authority. He started his career as a junior revenue officer in the Ministry of Finance before joining the KRA when KRA was established. He served in the authority from 1993 as a senior revenue officer and rose in the ranks of Deputy Commissioner Investigations when he retired in 2022. He currently serves as a lecturer at Kenya School of Revenue Administration, KESRA. Mr. Odede holds a master's degree in economics, a Bachelor of Commerce, and a diploma in tax administration. His extensive career has been focused on investigations, tax enforcement, and public financial management. Mr. Odede, Madam Speaker, displayed a great understanding of public asset management, advocating for digitalized asset registries, centralized valuation systems, and policy reforms for asset utilization. He emphasized the importance of transparency, youth-focused economic strategies, and support for underutilized public resources, such as the idle university lands. He has met all the statutory and constitutional requirements and has demonstrated integrity, patriotism, and readiness to serve, Honorable Speaker. On the candidature of Mr. Boniface Makoha as a nominee for Principal Secretary, State Department of Economic Planning, Madam Speaker, Mr. Makoha is an academic and development expert with over 24 years of professional experience in education, international development, and resource mobilization. He holds a master's degree in physics, a bachelor's in education, and is currently pursuing a doctorate in mediation and conflict management. He has served in regional roles such as with the United Nations International Conference on Great Lakes region and as a consultant for major development programs, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Makoha showcased a robust understanding of economic planning, public-private partnerships, and fiscal management. He emphasized a result-based planning model and the revival of gender-responsive budgeting, and the importance of aligning national development with international frameworks, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Makoha also exhibited strong leadership and management skills, drawing from experiences in overseeing multi-agency regional programs and leading cross-functional teams in Great Lakes region and other international assignments. He presented his 6-pillar vision for the State Department, which including bottom-up planning, performance tracking, and enhanced collaboration with the development partners. Madam Speaker, the approval of these nominees will be very instrumental in strengthening the strategic functions of the National Treasury and Economic Planning Ministry. Their wealth of experience will help Kenya tackle public asset inefficiencies and align economic planning and transformational national goals. Madam Speaker, in line with global trends in public sector reform and economic transformation, the expectations of the country of the nominees go beyond fulfillment of such mandates. The citizens of Kenya, and indeed this House, expect the nominees to embrace international best practices that have been proven to enhance transparency, efficiency, and development impact. Madam Speaker, adoption of international public sector accounting standards, where countries such as South Africa and New Zealand have adopted IPSAS to improve transparency in public asset management, will be a key reason to this individual, Honorable Speaker. These standards provide a structured approach to reporting and accountability, ensuring that governments are clear about value, condition, and usage of national assets. Madam Speaker, they must borrow from best practice across the globe with examples of what is being done in the United Kingdom and what's happening in Singapore, Honorable Speaker. And it's possible that that can be done in this country, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the State Department for Economic Planning, Integrated National Planning System is one of the platforms that we encourage these people to do, that will ensure that we have data mining, that will ensure there is a sustainable goal development, and especially use of data in prediction of our planning, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, the two functions that these nominees are being appointed to, the State Department for Public Investment Asset Management is a State Department that will be in charge of privatization, Honorable Speaker. There is a lot of that needs to be put in the thinking, in the mind, and in the heart of what needs to be privatized and what that doesn't need to be, Honorable Speaker. Governments have no business running business, Honorable Speaker, and it's very important that these PSs, if approved by this House, come up with a robust way of making sure that those underutilized resources in this country are properly utilized, Honorable Speaker, and making sure that the many idle resources and many idle institutions that will be run more efficiently if in the private sector are actually private, Honorable Speaker. The PS for Economic, State Department for Economic Planning, Honorable Speaker, we have never taken economic planning seriously as a country, Honorable Speaker. And as this candidate demonstrated the use of bottom-up, Honorable Speaker, we encourage them to do two things, to make sure that our economic planning starts from the bottom of the pyramid all the way up. And in addition to ensuring that we include our counties in the national planning of this country, Honorable Speaker. Because what happens now, we have 47 different counties with their different county plans, and they're still part of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Speaker. So we hope there's going to be an integration of our planning systems between our county governments and our national government so that we have a robust economic plan, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, our public service, even though we appreciate the experience of our aged population, Honorable Speaker, still has a big deficit of young people, Honorable Speaker. And we are hoping that these principal secretaries will have a youth-driven strategy, Honorable Speaker, in their state departments, and also ensure that there is young blood in our planning system, Honorable Speaker. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honorable House, approves the appointment of these two very professional candidates of this country, Honorable Speaker, and I beg CP Eruto, the Member for Parliament for Cases and a member of this committee, to second.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. As I stand to second the appointment of the two PSs, that is Cyril Wakunda Odede and Boniface Makoa. Madam Speaker, I want to say that, first of all, I want to appreciate the President for doing, for the first time in the history of Kenya, establishing an independent State Department concerned with investment and asset management. Madam Speaker, all of us, we appreciate the challenges we've gone through, especially during the new constitution and when the two levels of government were sharing the assets and liabilities. Up to now, we are yet to establish some assets that have gone missing because there is no clear records, no clear procedure, neither specific technical people to address this one. As I stand to support Cyril Wakuda, who actually demonstrated ability and understanding on the aspect of asset management and understanding on the issues of revenue raising situation. Madam Speaker, I want to say that this particular approach is going to improve on our management of our assets and also the performance of our institutions that we have established, like universities that are crumbling now. Almost every university in the Republic of Kenya is going down. At the moment now, every university is declaring going redundancy. The question is, where did the rain start hitting our institutions? We need this particular institution and this PS to go down and be able to establish what are the challenges and propose mechanism of protecting our institution. And not only universities. Look at even our production sectors like KCC. KCC now is going now to the west. Farmers have not been paid. What are the troubles? Nobody's able to explain this one. County governments, they are losing lands left, right, center. I come from a county where land grabbing is so wanton. And in future, we will lack space to improve service delivery or to establish institutions that are going to focus on the needs of the people. On the candidature of Boniface Makoa, this is one person that challenged me. If you look at his background of education, he's a teacher. He underwent education, physics. But the man, given an opportunity to speak out, he understands the issues of planning very well and very eloquent. Why? Because he got exposed in an environment of dealing with the people. And planning is not about the technical science. It is about the social science. It's about the people. Listening to the people, reasoning with the people, identifying projects that are going to affect and impact on the livelihood of the people. This is one person that, given the support, is going to transform this particular country. Remembering that the first planning started during the time of Mwai Kibaki, when the State Party, or when the Ministry of Planning was established, and it came up with the issue of the Vision 2030 that has transformed the country, Kenya. We need such a person that is going to give us a future beyond 2030. Where will Kenya be in 2050? Where will Kenya be in 2060? Where will Kenya be in the 100 years? So that we can now align our plannings and our budgetary processes to ensure we are geared towards that support. Madam Speaker, I support this particular. I beg to second the nomination of Boniface Makoa as nominee for Principal Secretary for Economic Planning, and Cyril Wakuda Odete, nominee for the Principal Secretary Public as Investment and Asset Management. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I therefore propose the question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee of Finance and National Planning in its report, majority and minority leaders, in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as principal secretaries, State Department for Public Investment and Asset Management and the State Department for Economic Planning, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 10th April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155(3)(b) of the Constitution and the Sections 3(8) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as principal secretaries. Number one, Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede, State Department for Public Investment and Asset Management, and number two, Dr. Boniface Makoha, State Department for Economic Planning. Minority Leader.
Madam Speaker, thank you for giving an opportunity. Madam Speaker, I stand to support the motion by the Departmental Committee on Finance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank also the chairman for doing a thorough job with this committee, because the report that they have brought on those two nominees, Madam Speaker, are factual. Madam Speaker, Cyril Wagunda Odede comes from my county, from Migori County, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank His Excellency the President for appointing Mr. Wagunda as a Principal Secretary, Madam Speaker. He is the first Jasuna to become a Principal Secretary. Can you imagine? Since independence. Jasuna is where I come from, Mr. Speaker. The first Jasuna to become a Principal Secretary, Madam Speaker. I can't be more proud than today, Madam Speaker, that in my life, as a sitting member of Parliament, Jasuna now is a Principal Secretary. Jasuna East or West, together they are called Suna, both of them. Madam Speaker, Mr. Odede is a distinguished career civil servant. He has served this country at the Kenya Revenue Authority for the last almost 30 years without any problem, without any matter, without any finger raised about him on issues of integrity, on issues of disobedience or anything at his place of work, Madam Speaker. These are the kind of Kenyans, Madam Speaker, when they are given a second opportunity to serve the nation, they will serve this country diligently, faithfully, and with honesty. Madam Speaker, this is a man I can vouch for because I have known him for many years. He's a man who has served this country
previous capacity as a deputy commissioner in the Kenya Revenue Authority, Madam Speaker, and a man who has all the qualifications, as has been said by the chair of the committee. They have checked everywhere, they have realized, and they have come to confirm that he's fit for the position that he has been appointed. Madam Speaker, the State Department that he has been taken, the State Department for Investment and Asset Management, is also equally very important State Department that our country needed. It's one of the new State Department that has been created now. And as you are aware, this country has many assets that need to be revived, for the benefit of Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Assets that some of them have become malfunctioning, others have become dead assets. We don't even have a proper register of the country's assets, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, as Migori people, whom I represent in this House, today we are very happy that His Excellency the President has given an opportunity, one of us, to serve this country. And Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to say that Kenyans will get the services that they need through that man called Mr. Cyril Odede, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Cyril Odede Wagunda also is a social worker. I remember when he was at the Kenya Revenue Authority, he has done a lot of social work at Migori, Madam Speaker. He has been a chair of many schools, boards, and he has helped the community to the extent where we thought that if he is given another opportunity, he can do a better job, Madam Speaker. And I am happy that the appointing authority, in their own wisdom, also realized and pointed out that this kind of person, if given an opportunity, will serve the country at a higher level. Madam Speaker, this is the way we want to move our country. We have people who have never thought that they will serve this country, these positions of principal secretaries, cabinet secretaries, and other presidential appointees are given an opportunity. Because, Madam Speaker, there are people I know, like this Cyril, who had lost hope. They never thought the national government will ever, see them, where they will have been rotting in Migori, Madam Speaker, with this kind of knowledge that they have, where the committee now has confirmed that these people will reform these places. This is the kind of, I want to thank the majority leader, Madam Speaker, because he has played a key role in making sure that this country moves to this direction it is moving to. He has been consulting me as the minority leader and asking me how many experts are remaining. Madam Speaker, we are in thorough consultations with the majority leader. Thorough consultations that anytime he thinks there's an expert required, I normally get his phone calls, even 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. He asks me, do you think there's an expert in ODM who can help issues in the government, Madam Speaker? But the majority leader continue with that kind of mindset, because who knows? Who knows? In the near future, you might become our president. Who knows? Only God knows, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I want to thank him also because he has shown leadership in that line. And I am happy that we are going to that direction as a country where every Kenyan feels he has a chance to serve his nation or her nation, Madam Speaker. Every Kenyan feels that he can serve in any position in this country. Where we are not being told you are a shareholder, you're not a shareholder, you are what, you are not. That nonsense has ended in this country, Madam Speaker, with this kind of appointment. When this list of the new principal secretaries came out, Madam Speaker, it covered the whole republic. There was a appointee from the coast, Kilifi, from Migori, from Kisumu, from Samburu, from Kajiado, from Mount Kenya, everyone. We are passing here a list that has all faces from all the regions of this country. That is the kind of nation we want going forward, Madam Speaker. Because look, Sona people are not small people. That's where I come from. And they have never been a permanent secretary since independence. You know, there are some communities here that when they speak, they say, oh, we have been forgotten. Me, I just keep quiet. They don't know that even ours have been forgotten. We have been in the trenches of opposition. That's why I think we have been segregated for all and discriminated for all this time of period. But now, finally, things have changed. Things have changed because people who never thought they can serve this country are now being put forward to serve this country. And that can only happen under leadership of the broad-based, not those other leaderships that were there before, because they have forgotten other Kenyans. Madam Speaker, I want to send the majority leader to His Excellency the President to convey our message that he's on the right direction in terms of bringing Kenyans together. This is the way to go. And we will not relent until every Kenyan feels that he's a Kenyan like any other Kenyan, not like before where a man who
who used to come to his office at 5 a.m. in the morning used to remind us that, oh, you're not shareholders. Which shares? When did Kenya become a company where people bought shares? When did Kenya become a limited liability company where you're judged by the number of shares you have? Huh? Madam Speaker, I want to say that this is the way a nation is built. This is how we can have a united and cohesive nation. When I find a Jasuna on the table, it's when I know Kenya is one. When you just, only people who can speak in one language are the ones who are running in government. That cannot happen anymore. So, Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, the committee, thank you very much. We will support on our side as the minority any Kenyan. We will not mind where he comes from, which religion he belongs to, which county, so long as he can deliver and provide services to Kenyans. I am promising you on the floor of this house, we will support him. And we will make sure he is given an opportunity. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and also rise to support this motion for the approval of the two cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, not cabinet secretaries, but maybe in the future they will be cabinet secretaries. Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede and Dr. Boniface Makoha, both of which the chair of the Finance Committee has very well elaborated how well they qualify for these positions, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to agree with the leader of minority that indeed it is important to recognize that when a government is formed, it is formed on behalf of the people of Kenya to serve all the people of Kenya. And therefore, anybody within the boundaries of the country who is qualified and a Kenyan can serve in any position. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, those of us who are fundis believe in the broad-based government, and not just the broad-based government because it brings us together, but because it also harnesses and creates synergy of expertise from across the political divide. That you do not need to discriminate against anybody on the basis of where they come from. You've had Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede is Jasuna, somebody from Suna. And if for the first time since independence, we have a Jasuna as a principal secretary, that tells you then the country is moving in the right direction, Honorable Speaker. I look forward also to the day very soon. I know we have had principal secretaries from Kikuyu constituency.
But not from Gashie.
And also some from Gashie in Kiambu. And I look forward to a time in the near future where we'll have a cabinet secretary from Gashie, yes. Honorable Speaker, in Kiamba constituency, yes. Of Kiambu County. But Honorable Speaker, allow me also to speak to the two state departments that have been created, or rather this new one on the State Department of Public Investments and Asset Management. Honorable Speaker, and to speak to Mr. Odede and tell him he is coming into a State Department where he is being appointed at the right time. And I say at the right time, Honorable Speaker, because this country is coming from a backdrop where we are implementing IMF-led reforms that were more tax-based. Honorable Speaker, following the events of last year, we have to consciously now move away from tax-based reforms in the country, Honorable Speaker, and balance this with investments, and more so investments where you can be able to raise money to carry out public investments without necessarily going back to tax Kenyans. And the Public-Private Partnership Act that we enacted in this House, Honorable Speaker, almost 3 years ago, has existed in our books. But we have been extremely slow in rolling out public-private partnerships in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, where you come from in Gilgil, you know on a Friday and a long weekend like this one, people take hours to get to Nakuru, a distance of less than 200 kilometers. That should take you less than an hour.
Some spend there, actually.
Yeah, people have slept on the road between Kinale and Gilgil. Those going to the western parts of Kenya over Christmas, some had to turn away and come back to Nairobi because they couldn't make it. those who could not afford to fly or use the train. And yet they had planned to travel up country. But it is because we have had challenges with doing these roads and expanding our infrastructure in a way that we will do it without necessarily hurting Kenyans. An opportunity lies, and Cyril must know that he has a golden opportunity to unlock the huge potential that we have to implement public investments using public-private partnerships. Correct. And I'm not just talking about the Nakuru, Rironi, Nakuru, Mau Summit, all the way to probably Malaba, dual carriage, and making it an expressway like the Nairobi Expressway. There are many opportunities. Honorable Speaker, the investments that we are seeing at Bomas of Kenya through PPPs, there are many opportunities to implement such projects and position our country in a way that we'll be able to attract even tourists who are coming for conferencing, not just getting to the game reserves, Honorable Speaker. Because, let me not use what I was going to use, but our neighboring countries, Honorable Speaker, and allow me to give the example of Rwanda, which is a much smaller economy than ours, not as well connected to the rest of the world as Nairobi, was going to overtake Nairobi in terms of conferencing and conventions, Honorable Speaker. But investments that we are seeing at the Bomas of Kenya will unlock now this potential, attract more people, more business coming into Nairobi for conferencing and conventions, and also investments into the country, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I want to tell Cyril he has his job well cut out for him. We expect that this new State Department will have a paradigm shift from tax-based reforms now to investment-based reforms in terms of being able to raise resources from the private sector to be able to unlock our potential in terms of infrastructure investments. Even the SGR, Honorable Speaker, the JKA airport. I know many people do not believe it, but JKIA remains an embarrassment to this country to a large extent. A huge embarrassment.
It's a bus park.
I hear the minority leader saying it looks like a bus park, like Machakos County bus park. Not Machakos County, but the Machakos Country bus station in Nairobi.